welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to make the pattern for a pussy bow shirt. So a little backstory. I went into one of my fabric stores to get fabric for something totally different, in as much as I've always wanted to make more work clothes for myself. I went to the store with the fabric in mind and a budget. Somehow I looked left, saw this fabric, and the only thing I could think about was a pussy bow shirt. So I ended up leaving with the two fabrics and a little bit over budget, which is then the reason why I'm making this video today. So let's break down the shirt. So it is a loosely fitted shirt that has buttons down at the center front. Now it does have a little bit of shape to it, but it does not hug the body. The sleeve aspect of it is also loosely fitted and has a little cuff at the bottom. The neckline has an extension that drops down at the center front, which can be tied into a bow, and hence the name Pussy Bow Shirt, which is not a name I originally coined, it is actually the name of the shirt. Now the good thing about this video is that not only would you be learning how to make the pattern for the Pussy Bow shirt, but you'll also learn how to make your basic shirt pattern, which you can use for any other shirt design. So go ahead and grab all your grabbables and let's get started. Now don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave me a comment. Also turn on your notification button so that you are aware whenever I post new videos. My name is Ijoma and welcome to my sewing diary. The materials you will need are your traced dartless basic bodice, paper scissors, gum or masking tape, short ruler, curved ruler, pen marker or pencil, long ruler, measuring tape, and extra pattern paper. I'll leave the list in the description box below, as well as all associated links. Starting with your front pattern, extend your shoulder line and mark a point ½ inch away from the shoulder tip. Mark 6/8 of an inch down and out from the bottom armhole like so, and redraw your front armhole. I used a pen to first make the mark and then went in with my curved ruler when I was happy with the shape. Extend your hem at the side and then mark a point ½ inch away from the side hem. Join this point to your new bottom armhole with your long ruler to create your new side line. Now if you want a straight cut shirt, you can stop here, as this is your basic front shirt pattern. In my case, however, I'll be adding some shape to it. So extend your waistline to the new side line and mark 1 inch in from the side on the waistline, and connect the 1 inch mark to the new bottom armhole and to a point 2 inches above the hem on the side line. Find the midpoint on the new hip line and mark 1/8 of an inch away from this point. Join this point to the waist and the bottom with a curved line like so. You have just finished your front basic shirt pattern, and you can decide to either trace out your desired pattern from here and store the manipulated pattern for other shirt designs, or continue with this one. Next, we'll add the button allowance. So with extra pattern paper at the center front, extend the center front first by 1 inch, and then a further 1 inch, and then ½ inch. Connect the point and label like so. You'll need 2 button allowances and a seam allowance. Fold in the center front such that your button allowance and seam allowance created are underneath the bodice pattern.
and then trace out your neckline, unfold, and outline all traced marks. Extend your hem to touch the button allowance and seam allowance extension at the center front. I've removed all excess paper so you can see the pattern I'll be working with. Measure the length of your front neckline and front armhole and note down. You will need these for the bow and sleeve. And then go ahead and add a 1/2 inch seam allowance at the neckline, armhole and side, and a 1 inch seam allowance at the hem, remembering to fold in the side for a well folded hem. Label your pattern. You'll be cutting 2 of this. Now to the back pattern. Take off the zipper allowance at the center back if you have used my method of tracing. And then take off the shoulder dart by drawing a straight line from your neck point out. Mark the length of your front shoulder line on this line from the neck point. Mark 1/4 inch out from the midpoint of the back armhole and 6/8 inch down and out of the bottom armhole. Redraw your back armhole, first with short strokes and then with your curved ruler when you are happy with the shape. Follow every other step as you did the front, and that is extending the hem by 1/2 inch, connecting it to the new bottom armhole, reshaping the side by going in 1 inch at the waist, redrawing the hip curve, and then measuring and noting down your back neckline and back armhole measurements. Add your 1/2 inch seam allowance at the neckline, armhole and side line, and a 1 inch seam allowance at the hem, remembering to fold the side hem in for a well folded hem. Label your pattern. You'll be cutting 1 of this on fold at the center back. Next, create your sleeve block. Now, I always create a sleeve block whenever I need sleeves. I don't have a block I trace from, and this is because I feel the sleeve is always unique to the bodice and can hence vary. So to create the sleeve, first mark 2 inches down from the top edge of a square piece of paper and rule across the length of your paper. This is your top line. Also locate the center of the paper by folding it in 2 and outlining the line. Calculate your bicep line by adding your front and back armhole measurements that you recorded, dividing the sum by 3, and then subtracting 0.5. Mark your bicep line down from the top line and rule across your paper. You'll be drawing your front and back sleeves in the space between the bicep line and the top line. The left-hand side is for the back and the right-hand side for the front. Where the vertical line intersects with the top line is called the crown. So measure out the length of your back sleeve from the crown to touch the bicep line on the left-hand side. And do the same on the right-hand side for the front sleeve, connecting both points to the crown with a straight line. On each side, mark the midpoints of the lines you have just drawn. And then from the midpoint marks, mark 1/2 inch up on the left-hand side and 1/2 inch down on the right-hand side. Connect the 1/2 inch points to the crown and bicep lines like so to create a triangle. Mark midpoints on each new line drawn. On the left-hand side, you'll be going up 3/8 inch from the mid-mark above and down to 1/8 inch from the mid-mark below. On the right-hand side, you'll be going up 5/8 inch from the mid-mark above and down 3/8 inch from the mid-mark below, and also mark 3/8 inch on each side of the crown. Connect the points with your curved ruler like so. and indicate your front and back sides with notch marks, 2 for the back and 1 for the front. Extend the block to your desired sleeve length by marking this distance down from the top line and ruling across. I used 10 inches. Extend the ends of your front and back sleeve at the bicep line down to the sleeve length line in a straight line like so. We will now slim fit the sleeves. So first mark halfway between the vertical line and the extended points on the front and back sides. I've gone ahead and numbered my points for easy reference. And then mark halfway between points 1 and 2 on both sides. Connect this halfway point to the point on the bicep line with your short ruler like so. Draw your cuff line 2 inches up from your sleeve length line and rule a line across. You'll be separating the cuff from the rest of the sleeve at this line, so make notch marks. Add a half-inch seam allowance round the sleeve head and side like so. Also add a half-inch seam allowance at the bottom. Separate the cuff from the rest of the sleeve at the cuff line, ignore the cancelled marks, and then add a half-inch seam allowance at the top of the cuff line and at the bottom of the main sleeve and label your patterns. You'll be cutting 2 pieces of the sleeve and 4 pieces of the cuff. For the bow, first mark 2 inches down from the top of a large piece of pattern paper and rule across. And then mark another 2 inches down from the first mark and rule across. The second being the width of the bow, so this can vary depending on how wide you want yours. Mark the sum of your front and back neck measurements plus 1 inch from the side edge of the paper on the top and bottom lines. This is your center front reference. And then mark a point 14 inches out from the center front reference on the top line and 12 inches out from the center front reference on the bottom line. Connect both points with your curved ruler like so. Add a half-inch seam allowance round except at the edge. And also indicate your back neck by marking your back neck measurement noted down in from the edge of the paper. This will act as a notch mark for the side. And you're done! Our bow shirt pattern is complete. I'll be making this with organza fabric next week, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out. And also give this video a like and drop a comment too. Many thanks for watching and see you next week. Bye!